Coach Alysiah Bond, who is the newest member of Coach Mox's staff for the Missouri State Lady Bears. And Coach Bond, I think we've got you connected. You're live on the air. Hey now.
Nate, listen, I'm so glad to be here. I don't care if I have to wait a few minutes for you. I'm willing to do it.
Well, listen, I was thinking going through your coaching resume that it's amazing because in some similar fashion, not nearly as intense as the coaching realm, but in broadcast too, you have to go to certain markets and work your way and work your way and work your way, and you're constantly on the move. And when people say what's home, you're sort of like, well, let me think about that. But you've been a lot of places, and now reunited with Coach Mox in Springfield, this has to really be a thrill for you.
It is, and it was something that, Nate, was not anticipated, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be back alongside Coach Mox. She is one of my most dear friends in life, but I have and maintain tremendous professional respect for her and am really looking forward to supporting her there at Missouri State.
And what do you think creates that bond? I mean, is it just a friendship that you guys have? Because when I see coaches that bring in people that they just relate to enormously, it's like there's just a different energy that they're able to create. Because it's not that you're a yes person for Coach Mox. It's almost the opposite, where you know how to, challenge her on something while staying respectful, but it's creating this groupthink of thoughts.
I think you make several great points. It's interesting because we did work together, but we were friends before that. We met via coaching, but I never knew that we would have that chance to work together. And so we were assistants together for 4 years. And even when you see people behind the scenes and learn how they work. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't. You always, though, work through that. And so with her in that leadership spot, she's always been a leader no matter what, but in the leadership spot officially, nothing's going to change. There's respect there first. There is a push to follow that lead, and but then also to bring fresh ideas, to be someone that she is familiar with, but always be someone that is going to stand beside her and have her back.
It's funny how the circle of life works. You guys go so far back, and then sure enough, here you are in Springfield together. It's uncanny because you can't predict it, but when the timing's right and the situation fits, it really is perfect harmony.
I believe that on a full scale. I think watching Coach Mox, as I said, from behind the scenes, it was inevitable that she was going to run a program. It was just a function of where and when. And when the opportunity came for her to step into that role there at Missouri State, it was already something kind of that she had been doing. And getting there with a program with such rich tradition and history, you knew that it just took kind of a good mix for her to really shine. And she certainly has done that, but she has walked into a place where she has been embraced, where the expectations are very high, but she didn't back down from that. And I think having such a talented group of young people to lead and stepping out that initial time, who knew how it was going to go, but I don't think it could have gone any better.
So you have made stops at 5 different Power 5 schools. And I'm curious because when you kind of lived the high life at these Power 5 schools, I'll never forget Coach Mox was asked, how many non-charter trips were you on at Michigan State? And she sort of laughed and said, well, not many. But, there's a learning experience to be had at each stop you make. And so coming here to Missouri State, what do you think the challenges will be? What will be similar? What will be different from some of those Power 5s?
Well, what is fundamental for me, Nate, is the opportunity to impact, to role model, and to mentor young people. So it does not matter where that location is, what conference it is, what level it is. There's a responsibility that I carry and maintain to help them grow, to help them develop, yes, on the court, but more importantly for me, off the court, because I think a major disservice is done to them if all you do is grow their game. And so regardless of where that is, I'm all for it. And so it's huge for me to be able to do that at Missouri State. So what's different, there are going to be some natural differences. Sometimes the way that you travel, But I'm a little old school. I started out that way. Would get on the bus, get to the hotel, however long that that takes. It's interesting because when you are on the bus with a team, there are so many unique things that can happen. You get to know them. You're talking. You can laugh. You can. There's so much there, and so I put less emphasis on those things and more on my responsibility to those young people.
Yeah, because that is really when you travel with a team and you're around players as much as you will be. That really, I mean, you talk about a connection. It goes almost beyond the basketball field. Like you're a mentor and you're a leader in their lives, is growing them to be servant people outside the realm of basketball.
It's a huge mission for me, and it just is what Nate feels natural. I feel such a connection to people. I consider myself to be very people driven, very relational, and it affords me the chance just on an extended basis, or however you want to phrase it. You can put it however you want. It simply comes down to being there for young people, being someone that they can rely on, who holds them accountable. There are going to be laughs along the way. There are going to be some tears along the way. But for me, the ultimate goal is to be someone that they know that they can count on beyond their years in a jersey.
So, what do you think when you look at this Missouri State program? What can your impact be on this team? It's been a pretty strong run they've had the last 2 years, albeit cut short by the pandemic this season.
I just want to be another person who echoes Coach Mox's um, kind of mantra, when it comes to FAB, which is family, which is academics, which is basketball, in that order. It's really what I believe fundamentally, so it's not going to be anything that's different for me. And I appreciate that she orders those steps in that way, because that's how it should be. I think basketball, the success that is achieved on the court is a byproduct of your ability to wrap your arms around the entire team, for them to feel comfortable, for them to feel loved, to feel challenged, and to feel welcomed. And then when you do those things and they feel supported, then everything, I think, falls into place. So there are going to be ups and downs in the journey, Nate, but again, I'm here for all of it and just want to be kind of a positive, energetic light and a constant in their lives.
I'm fascinated by your resume because it's so all-encompassing between, not only, from an operations standpoint, what you did at Tennessee under Pat Summitt, but with USA basketball, you've been a coach, you've also been a broadcaster in regards to the media. Like, you sort of have seen the game through a lot of different lenses. How do you think that's maybe prepared you to rise the ranks of the coaching ladder?
I've been fortunate for that to be the case. I think what it has done for me on a primary level, Nate, is it's given me a great appreciation for the end result, or the end product. When I was a student, I didn't know all that it took to pull things together. They would say, just show up at this time with this warm up on, dinner is at this time, all those things. I had no idea what all of that took, but when I became a director of operations, then I really understood, and it opened my eyes and it made me appreciate things that much more. So the ability to see it from that level, and then as a sportscaster, just to watch the dynamic of a huddle, to watch player coach relations, watching a teammate relate to another teammate or an official, all those things just really did so much for me. And so now when you say rise in the ranks, it's less about that for me. There's not really a rise that I'm trying to make. I just want to enjoy the journey, and I want to allow and help others to do the same.
Alysiah Bond is our guest here on Jock 98.7. I'm curious about your time with Pat Summitt, what she was like, and I've quizzed this to a few different coaches we've had on. If the style that coaches had in the 90s and into the even early 2000s would fit in today's style with almost the new millennial generation of athlete.
Okay, so Coach Summitt was in a stratosphere of her own, and it's not because of her iconic basketball teaching ability. She was outstanding to me. Yes, she's in the Hall of Fame. I say this to anyone. She's in the Hall of Fame, as a basketball coach. She deserved and belonged in the Hall of Fame of people. When I tell you that she understood people in a way and on a level that I could simply stand back and marvel at. When I got there, I was 25 years old, didn't know what to think or what to expect. But what I quickly knew and understood was how she endears herself to all who would be around her in any capacity. And so that made it such a unique experience. She worked as though she had never won a thing. And that was what made a difference to me in all of the successes that she achieved. She would endear herself to you, be loyal to you, do anything for you, and ask the same in return in the most humble way. She was a giver and, just kind of got it. But when it came to those players, there was a different gear that she had to get them to reach whatever level they possibly could. And so when you talk about her style, would it translate now? I think so, because the respect is there, and you knew that she loved you first. It's kind of what Coach Mox preaches. She preaches the love tough, not tough love, but love tough. The love has to be there first, and then you can really coach young people hard.
So was it strange at all for you to stay in the Big Ten and go back to Ohio State and kind of relive those memories as a player, but be on the other side wearing a different uniform?
It was crazy for me. I spent 8 years, Nate, in the Big Ten, and I started out at Wisconsin. I was coaching there for 4 years, and I will tell you, the very first time that we played Ohio State, and I was sitting on the bench, and it was time for warm-ups, and they ran out with their jerseys on and uniforms on, or warm-ups, and I paused. It brought me to a pause for a second, because I was like, I saw the logo, I saw the colors, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is my school. And I quickly got over that because I'm very competitive. But it brought me to a pause when they came to us. I think we played them in Madison first. And then that same season we played them in Columbus. And so that brought me to a pause as well, just looking around, seeing some of the same people, some of the same supporters. That brought me to a pause. But then again, the competitive level kicked in, and that was behind me. After that, it probably didn't hit me in the same way. I'm going to always have and maintain an incredibly high and deep affinity for my alma mater, but I am a competitor, so if I ever see them on the other sideline, then I'm definitely trying to win.
How's your game these days? Can you still,
Real shaky. Extremely shaky. I am a retired athlete for a reason. I might have a free throw contest with you, which is not even a strong suit of mine. So that's why I think I coach now, Nate, instead of trying to get out there. Anytime I do, I think I end up hurt, and I should have known better.
Now, born in St. Louis but raised in Los Angeles. So when I ask what's home, is there one kind of city or portion of the country that stands out to you?
That's a great question, Nate, and I get that often. Home has been established for me in different ways and different reasons. Yes, everyone in my family was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and several of my extended family members still live there. But I did grow up in Los Angeles, and that feels like home as well, because of family and friends that still live there. But for me, Columbus, Ohio also feels like home, because I finished high school there. I went to college there, moved there moved back there after moving away. And I think it's just a function of the people that are there. When people say home is where the heart is, home is where you make it. Home feels, there's a part of me that feels like each of those places is indeed home.
What have you heard about the fan base here at Missouri State and just how passionate this region is about basketball in general?
I know for a fact through Coach Mox, but also before, I'm doing this for the duration that I've done it, and been so fortunate to do it. I just try to keep up with the landscape, Nate, of women's basketball. I was there in 2001 in St. Louis when it was Southwest Missouri State and Jackie Stiles led them to the Final Four, remembering those days. But just watching, I actually was able to watch a lot of games this year. Natural interest because of Coach Mox, but because of our game schedule, I was able to watch so many of the games. We would play games on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and they would play on Fridays and Sundays. So I was able to watch a lot of games, and whether it be on the road or at home, you just knew there was going to be support there from the feedback that I've gotten from Coach Mox, and I've known past coaches there as well. You know that this fan base is fanatic, and I love that. I appreciate the fact that they want to show up and be at anything that is team driven. So not just the games, the radio shows, any speaking engagements, any place that they can be there, you know that they're going to be. And so I thought I understood that before. I know it even better through Coach Mox, and I'm certainly looking forward to experiencing it on my own.
Coach, I'm fired up. Coach Mox.
Come on, Nate. Let's go, Nate.
In her quote, she talked about your infectious energy, and I'm telling you right now, I'm hearing it through the radio. I'm ready to go outside and run through a brick wall.
Well, let's go then. Let's make it happen. My question for you is, what are your basketball skills? You asked me. I need to know, what does your jumper look like? Can you handle the basketball? Do you have something we can at least work with?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. So there's a little recplex here called the Meyer Center. Now, I wouldn't call my basketball skills like excellent by any means, but definitely above average. I go to my little pre-cardio routine, if you will, is that I'll shoot hoops for probably 20, 25 minutes, and I try to pride myself on making at least anywhere from 40 to 50 threes, and I just sort of get my cardio in by running baseline, take some wings, top of the key, but I think basketball is the best workout you can find. You're doing everything. It gets everybody in motion.
It is, and that's what I missed. I can jog up and down the court a little bit. I'm not quite sure it's a sprint, but I don't know, and I don't know how many times I can make the trips. But I'm just telling you that it is easily one of the best workouts that you can get, and I'm encouraged by the fact that you are still incorporating that into your daily workouts.
I love it. I love it so much. The game of basketball to me is, it gives everybody an opportunity. That's why I think you could probably broaden this to all sports, but the game of basketball has afforded so many people a way of life, and for yourself, not only as a player, but as a coach and a leader and a mentor. And how cool is that game that gets played on a hardwood floor with 2 baskets and 1 ball and 10 players on the floor can mean that much to so many lives? It's really impactful when you break it down to such a reduced level.
Yeah, it really is, simply said. And in the absence of the ability to get out and coach, to get out and play, how much more do we appreciate it? It has always been a major part of my life. I'm grateful that it gave me a chance to get a free education, but I'm also grateful for all that it has taught me. There's been some adversity there. There's been some triumph there, and I've received it all and better for it. So that is part, as I mentioned, part of my mission to share in that journey with a team, sharing that journey with individuals to help create some more memories, to try to teach some lessons, and to establish relationships that I hope endure, as I said, beyond the time that they wear their jerseys.
Coach, can I throw a couple of quick hitters your way before we part ways here?
Of course.
All right, The Last Dance. Have you enjoyed the docuseries featuring Michael Jordan and those Bulls?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not only am I watching it as it's being shown, but I'm recording it because I just feel like it's something that I am going to want to relive. I saw all of it firsthand. I am a diehard NBA fan. I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm a Laker fan through and through. I'm an old school Showtime Laker fan. So though Magic Johnson is my all-time favorite, Kobe's my second favorite, Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever play the game in my eyes. And to see the story behind the Bulls run, I think it's awesome for everyone to kind of get it, because this younger generation, I think there's so many people that have never even truly watched him play. They may wear his shoes and they know the Jumpman logo, but they don't know the full story. And even for those of us that lived it, it's been wonderful for me to just see it again and get more backstory. So yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mark it down on my calendar. I sit still. I'm ready for it. It is high on my list of some of the best entertainment that I've seen, just because it's when you have someone that is so great at what they've done, the best to ever do it, you want to kind of know more you know that there's more to the story. So from Scottie Pippen to Dennis to Phil Jackson to the whole, how he became so iconic with Nike, everything. I am thoroughly enjoying it, and I hope you are too.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And that practice that they showcase with the Dream Team and Magic and MJ going at it with some of the raw footage, like that is competitiveness at the highest level, but at practice, imagine channeling
I
that
know,
energy.
Nate, they were going at it. And when the All-Star game came and he called Kobe that Laker boy, and I laughed at that, and I was like, you know what, this is something. But yeah, when a collection of legends like that, and to think that those are still some of the best players to ever play the game. But imagine, as you said, how competitive the practices would be. And then by the time it came to the competition, players like Tony Kukoc, they didn't stand a chance, as was documented. So I think it has just really been a bright spot in this time where we are so in search and so in need of connection via sport, because that's what sport really does do. Whether there's passion there's so much commonality. And again, the relationships that are formed are showing themselves in different ways, and they're showing themselves in this opportunity for me to join the Missouri State staff, and I couldn't be happier about it.
All right, two more for you. What's on your playlist? What's Coach listening to when she's getting revved up?
I might bore you with my playlist. I am a Whitney Houston diehard. I'm a Michael Jackson diehard. I don't know. I love some good energy music. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I might surprise you, Nate. I might have I'm a little country. I'm a little rock and roll. What is that? What Kenny Rogers?
I
Did he
did. The
say that?
gambler.
I
Yeah.
know we lost Kenny Rogers, but someone who said I'm a little bit of country. I'm a little bit of rock and roll. I got a mix to me. I like music from all genres. I love and appreciate talent. I watch things like The Voice. Not that I have one, but I sure do. Enjoy watching it. So my playlist might include, I don't know, a range of things. You would probably be surprised, but at the heart of it, love Whitney Houston, love Michael Jackson.
Man, that song that Whitney Houston, since she's passed, I guess Kigo did like a remix of Higher Love, and it's just like
Oh yeah.
energy, 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 energy. I dig it. When I need to get fired up, sometimes I just got to throw on the Whitney Houston. Still, to this day, sang one of the best ever national anthems at a Super
Listen,
Bowl.
hands down, I will argue I think it is the best, but I know there's some debate in there, but I just think, especially Nate, at the time that she performed it, I think that was such a pivotal time for our country. So that remains in the rotation as well. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to belt it out at the top of my lungs. I know it doesn't sound nearly as good or the same, but I'm giving it what I have, and I just maintain that appreciation for her ability to sing the national anthem.
Well, Coach, listen, you've been more than gracious with your time. I guess let me throw this in there. Are you more of a Kraft mac and cheese cook, or are you like a chef with cutting out the ribeye and the asparagus?
Okay, so you will appreciate this uniquely. I love to cook. It is one of my favorite things to do. But in a throwback kind of way, you would not believe that I was in the grocery one day and I saw a 5-pack of the good old blue box Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was the only one. It was on the bottom shelf. I grabbed it, turned back the clock, and I literally just had some yesterday afternoon. I know you won't believe that, what the likelihood of that is, but I literally, good old fashioned powder, cut the little sauce packet or the powder packet. I put my 1/4 cup of milk. I put my butter and stirred it up and threw a little pepper in there. And it was awesome. Now, I had to turn back the clock, but I love to cook. I'm not a great baker. I don't really grill, but I absolutely love to cook. Very relaxing, and one of the things that brings me such joy.
Coach, I think you're going to bring this community a lot of joy. The Lady Bears are such a major player in so many lives here, and the Missouri State Lady Bears basketball program, I think, is so fortunate to have you, and I can't wait to meet you in person. This is going to be really cool.
Looking forward to it, Nate. And I thank you for this opportunity to spend a little time with you and to get to know you at least in this way. And I'm definitely looking forward to the day when we have a chance to meet face to face.
We'll play that one-on-one. You can tear
you
me
do
up.
not want this problem over here. Listen, you don't want this, Nate. I'm telling you. Now, I am retired, but I'm very competitive. I might hurt myself along the way, but you will not beat me. We can document it if you want, but game on. Whenever you're ready, so am I.
All right, Coach. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Same here. Enjoy your day, and thank you again so much, Nate.
You got it. That is Alysiah Bond. You too. Thank you so much. Alysiah Bond joining us here on the Jock. We will take a brief time out and come back with more. You're listening to the Sports Report on Jock 98.7.